Welcome to Daydream Manor Flower Farm. I'm Dawn. I'm in Zone 8B in South Louisiana, and today I'm inside. Welcome to my kitchen. Y'all, let's start it off with a weather report. Today, the heat index is 113. I am not going outside and I'm not going to be in the stem shed. I have no desire to be out there at this point. This heat is insane. And again, we have not even really slipped into summertime yet. So it's going to be a long, hot one. But again, it is why I wanted to get all of my subscriptions front loaded this year and do more and be done by the 1st of June because of the heat. And y'all know we had to be flexible on that because of the problems we had. And I still have a couple of bouquets left to deliver and it's just miserable. So one more delivery and I'll have those wrapped up, just a little bit late behind because of the soil stuff. But anyway, I'm not planting anything. I don't plan on starting any more seeds until late July. And they won't go out until mid-August. It's just, I just got to keep what I have alive. Because I do get custom orders. I have an event I think I'm going to do in July, but I have plenty out there. I just got to keep them alive. I mean, that's really the focus right now. And keep it weeded. So, I'll just weed early in the morning or late in the afternoon, a couple of boxes a day. So, I mean, we haven't even done anything else with the high tunnel. Since we picked it up, the heat index has been at 100 and above. So just way too hot, which, it just sucks that's when the grant that's when they make the decisions for the grant and all of that is like in the dead heat of summer, because we don't get reimbursed until they can come inspect it. So, we have a year from when we signed the contract to get it built. But I mean, the goal is to have it done by October so I can plan out in October for cool season stuff. So we're just going to take it easy with it. We're just going to do what we can, early mornings, late afternoon. So, speaking of October and cool season, it is time to start thinking about cool season flowers. I know look, after I say it's 113 degrees here today, but I did spend, since it's so hot, I'm trying to do some administrative stuff. I did drag out y'all, I love these things. I did drag these out. I have them separated in cool season and warm season to do a seed inventory and decide what I need and what I'm going to plant. Oh, speaking of planting, okay, I said I wasn't planting anything else, but I got gifted another box of Glad bulbs from my friend in Michigan who has sent me the other ones. It was a complete surprise. So I got a box of those, and I ordered lily bulbs. I don't remember ordering those. I don't even remember wanting to grow lilies again this year, but maybe I did. I don't even know if they're going to grow because it's so freaking hot, but they already had some growth on them, so I had to get them out. But let me tell you what I bought that was a game changer. Best 20 bucks I spent. I bought a ground auger for my handheld drill. Amazing. Took me less than 30 minutes to put 70 bulbs in the ground. Y'all. And I didn't have to bend over because normally I'm on the ground. I'm like hand trenching out to put the bulbs, cover them up and all of that. I mean, if we did like a bunch at a time, I'm sure we would use the tractor, but I don't do that many at a time. So I bought this $20 auger. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Got it at a big box home improvement store that's orange. So 24-inch ground auger. If you have a handheld drill, so recommend it. Anyway, I had to throw that out there because I got to share with y'all when I find something that makes work easy for this 55-year-old flower farmer. So anyway, I went through, let me get back to my seeds. So I went through here. And so what I was really, and I don't know why I was so surprised, but it took me back for a minute. I don't need as many seeds as I thought I did because I didn't use all of my seeds this year. I didn't succession plant anything because when my first planting, my cool seasons were not producing and I knew there was an issue, I didn't do a succession planting. So that made me really reassess what I'm going to do in the high tunnel. So here's the plan for the high tunnel so far, as of today. I'm going to do the tulips that I ordered, and then I'm going to have to order some more ranunculus and anemones. I need to go look for that and decide where I'm going to order those from. Then I am going to order more snaps, because snaps is what the main thing I really want to do in here. I have several seed packets of poppies, and I haven't grew poppies since like the second year I was flower farming. I didn't really have a whole lot of luck with them year 1 and 2, so I just kind of didn't do anything with them. But I think I am going to try them in the high tunnel. And then I have delphinium and larkspur, because again, when they didn't grow out here, I just didn't succession plant. So I have plenty of those. So right now, that's what's going to go into the high tunnel. Everything else will be put into the field. So started writing that. I've got that. I need to go clean it up and get it submitted. So that'll get done. So don't forget, time to start thinking about cool season already. Anyway, okay. So here's the other thing I'm working on. I'm trying to get my website and everything updated, because I want to talk to you about the flower bar that I did. And I think I kind of mentioned it in our last video. On the way to pick up the high tunnel, y'all, I had brought my notebook, and it was probably the best time spent in a vehicle for me, because everything else was just, there was not all this other distraction. And I just started mapping out what I wanted it to look like, what options I could have. Like, I ended up creating 3 different party options. So all of this fun stuff. So I'm getting it all into my website right now. Anyway, let me tell you about the flower bar. So let me give you a little bit of backstory. So first of all, if you're on social media, one of the most powerful things that I did was I really started following the people in my town. And they end up following back. And that has been a good connection for me. So I got a message on social media and asked if they could buy a couple of buckets of my blooms. I call them blooming buckets. And when I saw the person who was asking, I was like, oh, okay. Somebody who's very influential in our community and has a pretty big network. And so I responded back. I was like, absolutely. I said, so what are you doing? And she said, oh, I'm going to do a baby shower. So I immediately start thinking, right? And so I responded back. I said, okay, well, how about if you do this and this, this many blooms, because she had 15 people. And what if we add on a mason jar with a tag on it or something to make it look kind of cute for your guest? She said, sure, how much is that? So I told her, she says, perfect, let's go with it. So that got me thinking. Couple of things, right? Like I just hadn't put priority behind the creating of this piece. It's always just been an idea that's just always kind of flittered around, but hadn't done taken any action. Well, then I started thinking also, okay, this woman has a pretty big network. The people she's probably inviting to the shower probably has a large network, right? I really need to make this look good. And this is my opportunity to really get my name out with some folks that can help share their experience with my flowers. So I got creative. And no, I did not charge her anything extra. So some of you may be like, but I needed to do this to, one, build the relationship. And really, truthfully, I needed a test audience. And this worked out beautifully. So started putting everything together. And this is what I came up with. So first thing I did was I went on Canva. Now, I pay for the professional edition of Canva because I love Canva. So I created a bouquet recipe. I called it the Daydream Bouquet Recipe. So it has on here the foliage, the supporting flowers, a focal flower, a filler, and then I had some other flowers that just needed to be harvested and I didn't want to compost them, so I called those lanyap. And then tells them how many of each stem they need. So I did this first. This is just a cheap little frame I had on hand. It's a plastic, because I was like, I'm going to use mason jars. Let's you know, I don't want anybody to break anything. You know, mason jars are always iffy anyway. So I created that. Then I started thinking, all right, I don't want to display these in these black floral buckets. I mean, they're fine for harvesting, but the mouth on them is just too wide. And so everything looks floppy in them. I just don't think it looks good, aesthetically pleasing for my taste. And then I started thinking about the galvanized buckets, which I've bought a couple of those before, but Mr. Daydream ended up having to put a silicone seam in it because they leaked. And I was like, I don't know if I really want that. I was like, well, let me think about this. So I ended up going to a big box store and another store that was, where not everything's $1 anymore. And the first thing I found were these little garbage cans. And I liked them because this top is not as wide as those floral buckets. So I was like, okay, I can do something with this, and I can put like a tag hanging off here. So I bought several of these in gray and black and white. And so it's like, okay. Well, then I started walking around and I went into the garden center of a big box store and I found these. Y'all, these are so sturdy. I love these. It also has a plastic insert, which I probably could have put water and put the flowers in, but I just didn't want to take any chances. I was like, I'd rather just double it up. So I ended up doing this, and then once the flowers were in, you couldn't see this. You couldn't see this. So after I did that, I had these little tags, and I added pick 3, and this bucket, this one is basil and mint. So I put on there what it was and how many stems they needed to pick. It did correlate with the recipe. So they could see it on the recipe, and then they got to see it on the bucket as well. I then also had some snips with some little pink handles, just really cute snips that I put into metal buckets because I didn't want to use a wicker because I didn't want them poking through, scratching anything up. And then I placed those inside a wicker basket. What else? Oh, I had another little basket that was just for trimmings, so they could just throw their stems in it, so it made for easier cleanup. And so I put all of this together. And I get to her house about 2 hours before the shower. That was our agreed time for me to go drop off. And I had never met this woman in person, so it was hysterical. Like, I'm walking in and I'm bringing this stuff in. And I told her, the first thing out of my mouth was, "Hi, I'm Dawn, and I may be a little bit extra for your for this bridal shower." And she was like, "Okay, come in." So we put everything just on her kitchen table because she was in the midst of trying to get everything ready, bless her heart. And she was like, "What is all of this?" And so I started explaining to her. I showed her how to set it up with this. And I also had a big wicker basket filled with all of the mason jars that I had put a piece of twine around with a tag, again, that I created off of Canva, that just had a little flower on it, and it said "Enjoy your blooms," and had my website at the bottom. So I had this huge basket. So I showed her how I would set it up. I said, but set it up however you want to set it up. I mean, this is just how I would do it. So she ended up she was like, "This is amazing." She was so blown away, and she was like, "How much am I going to owe you for all this?" I'm like, what we agreed upon. I said, this is actually helping me. So here I told her, and this, I was honest with her. I was like, you inspired me to get moving on this because it's something I've wanted to do for a while and I just hadn't done it. But I also need some feedback, like what worked, what didn't work, was something more messy than the other. Because I always worry about Queen Anne's lace, like that Omni, you know, sometimes that, I don't know, I love the way it looks, but when it gets to that real full white, y'all, it kind of just makes a little bit of a mess. So I was a little bit worried about it. Somebody actually told me spray some hairspray on it before when you do that, and it'll stop it. So I haven't tried that yet. I might try it. Anyway, so I then told her, I said, okay, so then when you're done, if you'll just put everything back in these 2 big baskets, put them out on your front porch, just where they can't get wet, text me and I'm going to come by and pick them up without disturbing you. She was so blown away. Like, the conversation, I mean, we ended up taking some other pictures of stuff, but there's another event that I think I'm going to do with her in July, so it's something else that came from that. Just building that relationship. And then the ladies who attended, like she sent me pictures in the event, and I've posted them on my Instagram. If you go look on my Instagram page, you'll see the pictures. They had so much fun. I got a lot of good feedback. The mom who was showered made a cute little story about how it made her day special, and that, you know, referring people over to my website. So getting my website up and rolling, trying to get those all put in there today. It's just another revenue stream. And y'all, if I kind of timed myself too. Here was the other thing, because again, you know, I have to look at it from how much time am I spending? What am I charging? How much am I really making? You know, this is a business. I've said that over and over again. If I just wanted just to grow flowers and give them away, I would just be a home gardener. But this for me is a business that I want to turn a profit in. So this probably cutting, I mean, what I timed, and look, cutting and then delivering, showing somebody how to set it up, and then picking up, it's probably about 2.5 hours of time. Now I have factored in outside of my community here, a percentage to add for delivery outside of this area. Same thing if there's more than 15 people. So I have worked through some of that. First of all, it was fun. To me, I love growing stuff, but I also love bringing people joy. And I've said this time and time again. I picked flower farming. One of the reasons I picked flower farming is because I don't think mean people buy flowers. I just don't think they do. I don't think that's the attitude people have when they're buying flowers or when they're enjoying flowers. So I want to surround myself with that positivity and that good energy. So anyway, that is this flower bar. I'm hoping to get a few more. I'm working on another option for much larger events, like for weddings, to do a flower bar at a wedding, or, you know, when there's more than 15 people. So I'm working through some of those things right now, and hopefully get all of my website updated while it's hot. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you all. If you have a great idea for a revenue stream, something you're doing, or an idea that you'd love just to kind of flesh out, hit me up. I'll be more than happy to talk it out with you. Part of what I do for work is process. And so it is looking at how a process runs so that it's efficient and that people are getting what they need. So anyway, it's something that I love to do, but more than happy to talk it out with you. I am even working on renaming my bouquet subscription, so I'm going to share that with y'all when I get that figured out for sure. I've got to get some verbiage around that, but yeah, I'm going to do an overhaul of what I really want this to look like over the next few months. I'm going to spend my summer months inside in the air conditioning at my computer. So that's what I have for you. Let's share ideas. I love that. I'd love to hear what you're doing. Like for instance, and I'll give you another idea. Here in the state of Louisiana, in order to sell plant starts, you have to have a nursery license, which I do. One of the things I want to add, because we do vegetable starts, I do flower starts. I think when I get the high tunnel up, I want to look into adding just some hanging baskets. You know, one of my long-term goals is after we get the high tunnel up and the irrigation, because we'll be catching rainwater off of the high tunnel, setting up irrigation is. See Mr. Daydream in here, I can talk about this, because if I bring him one more thing, there may not be a Mr. and Mrs. Daydream. I want to do mums, and really and truly, I'm going to break it to him gently. I think what I'm going to do is, once we get the irrigation thing sound, truthfully, to do what I want to do with the mums and how I want to do them is just going to be adding more drip irrigation. So that's all I need for him. Y'all, I say that like that's it. Like, oh, I just need this little thing. I just have to break things to him easily. Oh, well. And then sometimes I just have to make him think it's his idea, and then it really gets done. But anyway, I'm kidding. He has been an amazing partner in all of this. And I say partner because we're in this together, but I know sometimes I can overwhelm him with the list of things. But I am a big picture thinker. I am that person who thinks really big and then works backwards from there. So anyway, not everybody's cup of tea, I know that, but anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic day. If it's hot outside where you are, please make sure you are drinking plenty, you are taking in plenty of fluids, water, so that you stay hydrated outside. Know the signs of heat stroke for sure, and heat stress. That is a very real thing. So that's my safety moment. I just did a safety moment. Maybe I should add a safety moment in every time. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we will chat soon.